When I first contacted the Forest Stewards, I had kind of a challenging project. We were going to add a beam to our house, and the beam was almost 17 feet long, 12-inch by 6-inch beam. They were able to do it. They found a piece of wood and they milled it for me. They also milled the wood exactly the dimensions that I wanted, which the rafters on our timber frame porch. It was great to work with them.
What I wanted to do was to have all of the wood that we're actually looking at be wood that came from the island. It's a fine product, and it's nice that it's logged here, milled here, planed here, used here. There's not very many other places where you can actually use the wood that comes so locally unless you cut it and mill it yourself. What we got for the cupboards, the cabinets, is all VG first, so it's all vertical grain, so there's no knots or anything in it. Just really pretty wood. I like the oranges and the yellows.
Forest Stewards is a non-profit entity that is here to help forest landowners, both private and public, steward their forests. When a forest evolves, trees die. The trees remaining become bigger and take up that space. So Forest Stewards is trying to work with nature and take those trees down that would naturally disappear from the forest, utilize the ones we can. Those trees help pay for good stewardship.
About 4 years ago, the Forest Stewards, in a partnership with the Vashon Park District, ran this ecological thinning project here in Agron Park.
I'm Wendy Brykes. I'm the Executive Director of Vashon Park District. We had done these aerials. Matter of fact, there's one right there, and you can see that's the field at Agron, and there's the forest all the way around. And it's very full and all uniform, and that's not the healthiest situation for a forest. The Forest Stewards really managed it for us. The logging was just so interesting. Big machines that they used, and they did it without creating damage.
So what we did is we thinned out about half the trees, and we took out only Douglas fir trees. So we came in here and planted a lot of western red cedar and grand fir and a lot of understory shrubs. And you can see that cedar with the pink flagging right over there that's now coming up. And through time, the main goal here is to accelerate the development of an old growth forest.
People were very pleased with the results. The sunlight now filters through the woods. It's very pretty up there in the evening.
It was really moving to me to come back to this spot after the project was done. And we all said, well, you know, where did all these big trees come from? Because we had taken out all the small ones. And the scraggly trees, a lot of the scraggly little suppressed trees that were not growing very much. And it's very, very satisfying.
And when the project was over, the logger had been paid, everyone had been paid, and we had about $16,000 put aside now to do reforestation or replanting and repair of the trails. So it's really a project that's still going on, and it was very successful. It was nice to work with the Forest Stewards. They know what they're doing. They obviously love it. And so I knew I wanted stairs that were very simple, you know, the open, just the treads and not the riser part. And it's beautiful. It really is. It just glows. So I just like knowing that it's wood from Agron there. So that's my Agron wood story.
60 feet long or something. There's at least two 25-foot pieces on it. So it's at least 50 feet.
We had, this gentleman had a bunch of trees go down in the windstorm, and rather than let the logs rot, I mean, they're usable material, so we go in and salvage it. And this is all salvage logging. That we have a 12-ton winch on the end of our boom out there. What we do is we aim the boom at the log that we're going to pick up. We tie onto the log with what we call a choker, and we pull up on it just like you're reeling in a fish. We can go into an area that's like this, that's quite sensitive to damage, and we can pull that log out of there without leaving much of a mark at all. It's a very, very slick operation. Pretty unique, actually, in the logging business.
So this is pretty typical. This is 50 years old, came down in the storm. That would make good flooring It would make good siding. It's going to be fairly tight grain. It's a dense wood. We might get some trim out of that. It'll probably have a few small tight knots.
The economics of it kind of comes back to where you want to spend your money. And for us, where we want to spend our money is we want to spend it supporting local businesses in a sustainable economy.
You know, it's very related to the organic food movement and your carbon footprint. By buying locally, you support good forest stewardship of your own lands. You know, for a long time, cutting down a tree has been a bad thing. And through science, we've learned a lot about the ways forests function. And we've learned that certain trees, it's a good thing that certain trees come down out of the woods. And so working with nature, we can enhance the forest in doing that.